All right. Hello, Mr. Rayburn. I'm Sarah Smith. I'd love to explain a little bit more about my role here, and then we can get started. Does that sound okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Well, I'm a social worker here at the clinic. I'm in behavioral health. I work alongside the medical team to provide additional support to the patients. And Dr. Jones wanted me to speak with you about your care plan. Would you like to start by just telling me how things have been going for you?
Yeah, I'm sure he does want to talk about my care plan. It's like one day I'm hauling freight, and the next thing I know, I'm in the hospital. I mean, everybody's telling me now how I have to change my life. I was going about my business doing 60 hours a week to provide for my family, and ever since I had a heart attack, everybody's worried about me. Now that I've been diagnosed with congestive heart failure, I figure it doesn't really matter what I do. I mean, where's my motivation? I feel fine sitting here talking to you today. I mean, so I don't know. It just feels like it's too much.
I understand. It sounds like quite an adjustment, and I'm sorry about your diagnosis. It's one that comes with an overwhelming amount of new information, new instructions. I get the sense you're feeling frustrated.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what do these doctors know? And they're the ones telling me everything. They control my life now. So what do they know anyway?
Right. How would they know how to help patients deal with heart failure?
Well, I mean, I guess technically they know a lot, but I don't get it. I mean, how will making all these changes help? There's no cure for this disease. I mean, it's not like it's going to go away.
Well, Mr. Rayburn, let me see if I have an accurate picture of how you're feeling. It's been a huge interruption in your life, and it seems to involve a great deal of change. You're frustrated by people telling you what to do, and you're not even sure that making those changes will make a difference.
Yeah, I mean, you're right, and that's exactly how I feel. I mean, no offense, but that includes you too. I mean, I don't know if I need another person telling me how I'm supposed to live. I don't understand this. I mean, what makes you an expert too, any more than the doctor? I mean, I bet you've never gone through anything like this before.
Well, Mr. Rayburn, you are absolutely right. I don't know your experience, and you are the expert on your experience. And even if we had gone through the same thing, it wouldn't be the same experience because we're different people. So you're right, and I'm here to try and understand so that maybe I can help you discover some things that you would be interested in trying. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, that sounds good. That'll be fine.
Okay. So let me ask you this. As you consider the changes you mentioned the doctors encourage you to make, involving your diet, I understand, and perhaps smoking, what reasons might you have for keeping things as they are, for not making these changes?
Well, for one, I don't have extra time or money to spend trying to eat healthy. It costs too much. I mean, I've been down that road before. I don't have the best diet, I know, but fast food is cheap and it's easy for what I do. Um, Especially my job. I'm a trucker, and I mean, another thing, smoking helps me relax. I don't know if I want to quit smoking. I really enjoy it.
Okay. So you feel that you end up spending more money when you try to eat healthy, and that's happened in the past, and you don't want to take on any financial burden. You also enjoy getting to smoke. Can you tell me a little bit more about your smoking? What does it do for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's a stress reliever, and I work all the time, and there's not a lot of time for me to have hobbies or do anything. I guess it gives me some, I have nerves, and smoking is kind of my thing. It's like every couple of hours, I get a few minutes, and I blow off some steam with a cigarette.
Okay. So kind of a way to manage your stress, something that you get to do for you, and it would be really difficult to let that go.
Yeah, I mean, especially now with all these things I have to worry about.
Okay. Now I'd like to ask, what do you think there are any disadvantages to not making the changes that you've been asked to make?
Yeah, I mean, it upsets my family.
So your family is bothered by your reluctance to make these changes. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Well, I've got three sons, and my wife's pregnant. I think my oldest son really knows and understands what's going on. My wife wants me to make sure I do what I can so that I'm around to help her raise the kids. I mean, I understand that. She keeps nagging me all the time, and I mean, she nearly like knocked me out when she found out I started smoking again. I mean, as if this isn't my body. I mean, I know it's not worth it. It's just not worth it to change these habits when I could drop dead from another heart attack anyway. And I mean, at any minute.
So you feel like your wife is kind of on your case. Could it be that maybe she's not upset with you, or rather just concerned and for you and your kids, and she doesn't want either of you to miss out?
I mean, it irritates me to death, but yeah, I know that's what it is.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that could be the case for your doctors too, and the rest of your care team? No one's, trying to take anything away, but maybe just help you learn how to function in this new diagnosis.
Maybe so.
Do you think that there would be any other benefits from making the recommended changes?
I mean, I think I would be less stressed if I made these changes. I always feel like I'm letting other people down that are trying to help me, my doctors, my wife, you now. It's going to give me some peace to do it. People might be less worried about something bad happening to me, and I'm save a hell of a lot of money from not smoking. So.
Well, it sounds like on the one hand you want to change, like it's worth it if you know you can be around for your family. But on the other hand, you really can't be certain that the change will save your life, and you don't know if it's worth it to give up some of your habits.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much how I feel. Yeah.
So there's some good reasons, it sounds like, that you have for maybe making some changes that would be worth your while. What about how you aren't sure of the outcome? Is it still worth making the changes? You can't know.
Well, I mean, I can't let my family down by not even trying. I wouldn't want my children to know or to think I didn't try. So that's my biggest motivation right now.
Sounds like you really love your family and you want them to know that.
Absolutely, I do. Yeah.
What are some of the things that the care team has asked you to focus on concerning your lifestyle habits? I mean, we've mentioned your smoking and your diet. What do you think? What's the biggest thing that you think you could focus on?
Well, like I said, they want me to eat better, and they want me to quit smoking, and they want me to work less. I'm going to do that, but they want me to work less. I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to do.
Okay. Well, making any changes in your lifestyle, it's completely up to you. I mean, you get to decide whether or not you think it's important or worth your while. And that's quite a few things. But if you were to start with one of them, do you know where you might begin?
I'm thinking about it. I've been thinking about it.
Well, you mentioned your wife was upset that you started smoking again. So you've quit before?
Yeah, I smoked for 20 years, and then I quit for about 2 years, and then I started back about 6 months ago.
Okay. What was helpful for you the first time that you quit? How were you able to do that?
I went to a group class on smoking, and they gave some tips that helped. We had to write out statements for why we wanted to quit, and we carried it around with us. And whenever I wanted to smoke, I'd look at my motivation and help me to move on to something else. I'm back on the road a lot for work. I mean, I keep it on the dashboard, but I had the urge to talk to somebody instead of smoke. So, I could talk to someone instead.
Okay, so your group was helpful. Sounds like you had a little motivation statement to kind of remind you. What was your why for quitting at that time? What motivated you?
Set a good example for my kids. I mean, when it came down to it, the oldest in middle school, I just couldn't get past the fact that I'd never want them to do it. I mean, I don't think it's a big deal to try things, but to never have to smoke, to have a smoke, I don't want them to ever need something like that like I do.
Okay.
Probably isn't good for them, and it's an addiction. So how can I expect them to not smoke if I'm not showing them that myself?
So when you quit the first time, it helped you to be reminded of your goals, of what motivated you too. I mean, you were motivated by wanting to set a good example for your children, and you also felt Some patches helped with cravings. Were there other things from the group that you might be able to use if you chose to quit smoking?
I made some buddies, and they were really solid. We also would, hold each other accountable, and that helped a lot. I haven't kept up with them that much. Life gets busy with the kids and the baby coming. That really did make a difference, though, when I think about it. And having someone who knew how to relate to you about your cravings, that really helps a lot. And hearing what would help them, that was pretty cool.
Okay. So you enjoyed being a part of a group when you quit. Is that something that you might be interested in trying again?
Yeah, I mean, if I'm going to commit to it, I think I'd need the support. I know I would, and I don't want to. I don't want to join another group without it. I mean, I could probably reach out to my old buddies that I made the first time.
Okay. So if you imagine trying to quit again, what do you see getting in your way?
Being alone in the truck, I can see myself having a hard day and buying a pack, and no one would ever know about it. Nobody would have to know, just me.
So do you think if you had the accountability and you used the patch and had your motivation statement in your view, do you think you could do it? I mean, how confident are you that you could do it?
Ooh. When I set to my mind to something, I can do it. I'm pretty driven. When I make a decision, I'm pretty driven.
So you're fairly confident you could quit smoking if you set your mind to it, if you decided it was important enough.
Yeah, I am. I'm confident I could. Yeah.
Well, how important do you think that it is? If you had to choose on a scale from 0 to 10, 0 being not at all important, 10 being of the utmost important, where would you place it?
I guess a 7.
Okay. Now, why did you choose a 7 and not, say, a 5?
Well, I mean, I think about setting an example for my kids. It makes me think it's pretty important. And then the doctors are saying that somehow it's going to keep me healthier. I can't not try this. And I think that's what the main reason it's important. A lot of different factors. I think it's important that I do it. So 7, yeah.
And why did you choose a 7 and not a 9 or a 10?
Well, because I think there's just so many other things I'm supposed to also work on, and it's hard to know what's the most important. If one's going to slip, which one's it going to be? What's the most important, or which one to do?
Okay. Well, Mr. Rayburn, it sounds like you've had success with quitting smoking before, and the same motivations are leading you to believe that it may be important enough to try again. So I think starting with smoking might make sense if that's something that you'd like to try. Do you think that it is?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I guess it's better to start somewhere like here than to just not start at all.
Okay. Well, I'm going to hand you this goal sheet. You can look it over. It's a little bit of homework, and then if we can meet again in 2 weeks and kind of review how that goes for you.
Yeah, that sounds good. I can do that, and I really appreciate it. I'll see you in that 2-week appointment slot we talked about.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.